You know, it's like a fine wine, Charles.
What is Rich, what?
The Michigan-Ohio State rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like a fine wine.
Yeah, it does get better with time.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
It ages well.
It does.
It's been aging well recently as well.
Rich, you probably haven't slept all weekend.
Tell me about it.
I just listened to you.
Yes.
A few minutes ago.
And?
That thing went on for, what would you guys say? 15 minutes? 20?
What do you think?
It ain't over yet.
Well, don't ask that. They think I go on too long about it.
You haven't slept all weekend thinking about that.
But you know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I was, in fact, up around 3 in the morning, and I'm like, how am I going to handle this? And I thought to myself, just speak from the heart, Rich. Yeah. Through your chest.
I almost felt bad for those guys after that monologue.
Charles Woodson is here, everybody. Our Pro Football Hall of Fame, Heisman Trophy, Super Bowl winning friend is here on the Rich Eisen Show. Listen, I just root for it. You played in this thing.
Yeah.
How does it land when they win like Michigan won over the weekend for you, Charles?
Well, this is probably one of the more satisfying wins. And it reminds me, I was reminded before the game, I was texting with Marcus Ray. So the producers were trying to, they're asking questions about the game, when we played, what kind of things that Lloyd Carr talk about. A lot of those things, man, I forget. But Marcus Ray is like an almanac. He remembers everything. So he's giving me all of these, different things that Lloyd would talk about. But in 1996, we were underdogs. We had to go down to the shoe. And I think we ended up beating that team, another undefeated Ohio State team, 13-9. Nobody gave us a shot to win that game. We're in their house, of course. We're in the shoe. So they're the mighty at this time. They're going on to try to, win a championship. And this game reminded me of that. To come into the game and be 20-point underdogs is really, it was really a slap in the face, because then people are not respecting the actual rivalry, what this game means to both sides. And before the show, I know where everybody's leaning.
I mean,
everybody on our show, I know how they feel about this game. And they felt about this game the same way they felt 2 years ago when we went down there. And forecast was it was supposed to be windy and, cloudy, kind of favors Michigan in the run game. But then all of a sudden the sun starts shining. And everybody's like, oh, man, Stroud and these receivers are about to go crazy on this Michigan defense. Did not happen.
Well, they also didn't attempt it, though.
Yeah.
This time around, they did not attempt it.
This time around,
I don't understand.
I don't quite understand it.
Right? It's mind-boggling. The conversation amongst all of us Wolverines, or the mortal Wolverines, is that Harbaugh saying years ago, and Sharon Moore backing it up, that Ohio State's not tough enough. They're not tough enough. Ryan Day's not tough enough. They're not tough enough in the trenches. They're not tough enough in the run game. Just messed with their heads so much that they're like, we'll prove how tough we are. And then they run right into the teeth of exactly our strength.
Yeah, well, not only that, I think Lou Holtz said it as well about this team. And then, Ohio State won a game against Notre Dame, and Ryan Day, vocally said, oh, we're a tough team. You can't prove it to us by talking about it. You got to go do it. And like you said, like Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant and them boys, they wasn't having it. I mean, all game long, they didn't let these guys breathe. So we're happy that they tried to prove themselves to be tough. And we proved that we are tougher.
Now, let me ask you this question. Because, again, and it's kind of silly I'm asking this because, I'm in TV too, as you know. But just watching Urban sitting next to you, as you're saying, 30-27, Michigan's going to win by 3. I don't know. Are you aware he's like smiling at you?
I didn't see till after.
Okay.
It's just like, but that's how everybody felt. So what I was saying was absurd. You know what I mean? And
but he takes this personally, though. He still takes it personally.
He's got to. I take it personal. When they were whooping us all them years, I take it personal.
Right.
But it was the way that he laughed. It was like, yeah, right. We're about to smack Michigan.
Did you say anything to him afterwards?
No, because I ended up leaving.
That's too bad.
So so I was in the
because you had to fly west to work. You had to work for Fox yesterday.
For Fox yesterday,
right.
And so I'm in the airport on the plane watching the game, and
oh man,
hard to contain the emotions, man. I didn't want him to have to land the plane early.
It is truly unbelievable that this actually happened. So let's just move it forward a little bit here. Who do you think is the best team in college football right now? Is it Oregon? Is it Oregon's to win? Would you say that right now, Charles?
Man, I'm kind of I'm kind of conflicted. I love Oregon, but I feel like watching the way that Georgia played Texas when they beat them earlier this year. I feel like if Texas is clicking on all cylinders, then even though they got as many losses as they have, they would be the toughest team. So I would lean between a Georgia team that's playing really well, and Oregon, but just because Oregon they haven't lost.
Well, Texas just came up with a big win too.
Texas came up with a big win.
Arch running it in to start the scoring. I mean, you got that happening. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think Ohio State should do? Because fans want Ryan Day out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, I would venture to say, man, he would have to go win it all. They for what they did this offseason, of course, with the NIL and the money that they reportedly spent to beat Michigan. The fans, they're not even thinking about the championship right now. They're still thinking about Michigan because that's what this was supposed to be. Bring these players in, like an all-world Caleb Downs, who was really a great player.
He's terrific.
Terrific player. Beat Michigan, and then go on. Because all I've heard all season was that this is the most talented team. They're favored to win the championship. And so now, he's got to win the championship. You didn't get the Michigan game. Mm-hmm. So now you got to win the championship. Or they're calling for him now, but if he don't make it, to the championship game and win it, it could be lights out.
And what do you think? Again, now Michigan's got to, turn the page.
Yeah.
And next up, next year, this kid Bryce Underwood is coming in. Yeah. You heard the amount of NIL. Michigan's flat out in the NIL game now, man.
I don't think you have a choice.
I know. No, I'm not saying. Of course, you have to do this.
You don't have a choice nowadays, man.
Well, certainly, if you got Larry Ellison, on speed dial, and Portnoy and the rest of the conglomerate, if you will, together. But this is a different way now to coach Michigan, wouldn't you say? With the expectation level and an NIL quarterback coming in, I mean, it's going to be a different way of doing business. Do you think
it's a different ball game now? It used to be, where you were going out and you were recruiting, you were going into kids' homes and you were trying to talk to their parents about why your school is the best. But now the parents are calling you saying, "How much money you got?" Really, like these are the conversations that are going on. So it's not so much recruiting anymore. It's, hey man, my son is this team's recruiting him, that team's recruiting him. What do you have for me? Oh, only 200,000? Sorry, you're out.
That's why I think the guy who sits to your left, that anybody thinks that he wants to come back and coach the Ohio State, he'd rather be sitting to your left than having conversations like this. Yeah. And Mike Vrabel, I don't know if he'll be walking through that door if he's got an NFL gig. Why would he want to start having people saying, "Pay me more"? Otherwise, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
it's a different world now.
18-year-old kids. I need 6 figures, 7 figures. Like, wow.
You would have said that to Lloyd in a heartbeat, right? Back in the day.
Oh, I would have said what?
If you don't pay me, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I tell people. It's like, think about it. If this was going on back when I played, do I go to Michigan? Like, does USC give me $2 million and Michigan offers me $1 million? You're gonna take the $2 million. Mm-hmm. It's a different ball game. I always loved Michigan, so with the opportunity to go to Michigan, I was going to go there, but it ain't the way of the game no more. Well,
you're about to head off to the airport. In a couple minutes I have left with you, Charles Woodson. Have you voted for the Heisman yet?
I have not voted yet.
Okay. Ooh. Do you have any thoughts on this subject matter, Charles
Woodson? I got it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, there's a guy out there that played a lot like I played, even more so. In my opinion, he's the best player in college football.
Travis Hunter, you're referring to?
Absolutely. What he did this year, it's already amazing enough that he played so many plays every game. 120 plays a game is nuts, but it's really the production of the play. You know what I'm saying? He's not just out there playing in reps. touchdowns offensively, double-digit touchdowns. Shut down receivers on the outside. Every time you saw a ball thrown his way, he was breaking it up, intercepting it. When they needed a big play offensively, he's usually the one going up to get it. So the production is what puts him over the top for me, not just the amount of plays.
He's also a Bolitnikov finalist. How do the Thor people not make him a finalist? I mean,
yeah, somebody just dropped the ball. I don't understand that.
Right.
You know what I mean? To be one of the best defensive players in college football, and to be left off the list to just even a finalist, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
like if you're up for it and you lose it, like, okay, because Caleb Downs, look, I love that kid. Like, he can play the game, but not to even be up there or in the stands or in that auditorium, that's crazy.
Do you think Travis Hunter can play both ways in the pros like he's doing right now in college?
Not the amount of reps, but
so he plays fewer reps on which side of the ball?
I think the way I would play it is I would play him on defense, but there would be packages on offense for sure. I mean, in this world we live in, man, you got to have your best talent on the field.
But 50 snaps on either side of the ball in the NFL, that doesn't happen? You don't think?
Say it again?
50 snaps on either side of the ball in a game in the NFL, you don't think that's feasible?
Well, you play 50 on defense and then, because usually average 55, 60 plays on defense.
Right.
Offense is the same. But
that's what I'm saying.
You play your full defense, but then let me give you 7 or 8 plays on offense.
That's all.
I wouldn't try to play them more than that. The NFL is just different. Like, these are all NFL bodies now. When you're playing at Colorado and you're playing Arizona State, there may be a guy over there, 2 guys that go to the NFL. Mm-hmm. Well, now you're in the NFL. Everybody is an NFL player.
Yes.
And so the bodies are different. These are grown men out there, So the NFL just kind of leans on you a little differently than college does. So, I wouldn't dare try to play him full on both sides. No.
You the man, Charles Woodson.
My man, good to see you.
Thank you so much for coming in here on your way to the airport and celebrating and breaking it down, Charles.
It's been a good weekend.
Go
man.
Blue,
Go
Charles
Blue.
Woodson. Fantastic. Still on Roku for another minute and 50 seconds. So are you not voting for Shedeur so he's maybe not as first overall worthy, so maybe the Raiders can get him? Is this the game that you're playing right now?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I can't go into that. But love Shedeur, man. Heck of a player. We've watched him progress over the last couple of years, even at Jackson State and to now. And heck of a player, can read defenses. He's a real quarterback, NFL ready quarterback. So look forward to see what he does.
Could you imagine though, you in your first year as whatever, you do a million things for the Raiders, in the first year of Tom Brady being a minority owner of the Raiders, that you would potentially get Deion's son playing quarterback for the Silver and Black. So Deion would be around, you're around, Brady's around. That would be unbelievable.
Wow.
That would be.
Don't you think?
That's almost dream-worthy.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, and that would be great. It'd be great to see Shedeur in Silver and Black. I think he'd look good in it.
I think he would too. And I know a lot of fans who think he would as well.
Oh, yeah. They want it.
So you and Brady, what happens when you have a meeting in the Raiders front office? We're all good? We talk Michigan football, or are we talking still about that snowy day?
I don't know, man. He's the owner. Does he let me in? Does he let me in on those meetings? I don't know, man.
Once upon a time,
I might not be privy to the information he's talking about now. I don't know.
Oh, Charles, you're the best.
My
Thanks
man.
for coming in.
Appreciate
Charles
it.
Woodson, everybody. Let's do this every time. So same time next year. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.